Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at an article that was published November 31st. It's written by Caitlin Schlalhorn. And, I'm guessing this was voter fraud on the favor of, or on the note of Democrats committing it. Possible voter fraud probed in tight North Carolina House race. Yeah. I don't think it was this close. It has been nearly a month since North Carolina voters cast their ballots for the 9th Congressional District, but officials are still holding off on certifying the winner amid an investigation of possible voter fraud pertaining to absentee ballots. Yeah, absentee ballots tend to be the biggest place where Democrats like to commit fraud. They really love those because you can get them sent out and you can slip them in and yeah, no one's the wiser. North Carolina's election board unanimously decided to delay finalizing the results of the close U.S. House race in a meeting Tuesday. Friday's board meeting agenda did not include any plans for certification, according to the Washington Post. Yeah, well, it's probably a good thing they didn't certify it, even though the Republican won with the Democrat shenanigans. Because it'll allow for an investigation, and I'm sure with the affidavits that they talk about further on in this article, there was some really shady shit going on. It just looks like that. Republican Mark Harris leads Democrat Dan McCready by 905 votes out of the nearly 283,000 cast in the district. The GOP has held the district since 1963. Yes, and the thing is when you have the Democrats saying that there's going to be this blue wave, and you have the legacy media, the leftists and the legacy media, who have clearly proven time and time again that they're in bed with Democrats and Hillary Clinton and all that type of stuff. They knew that it wasn't going to happen organically. They needed to do what they could to try to actually create the blue wave. And if that meant doing shady, shifty, illegal shit, they had no problems with it. I mean, they're infamous. Hell, Kennedy had dead people in Chicago voting for him. That's a matter of historical fact. A fact that, they try to erase out of history because they go, oh, no, we've never had that happen. Oh, not in our elections. No, our elections have always been, full of, had their integrity intact, and they've been full of honesty and just honest, people voting for the candidate that they want. And, you have a situation where, guess what? Not exactly the case. But they don't want to talk about those things. Democratic Party attorney John Wallace has alleged public records confirm that serious irregularities and improprieties may have occurred, pointing to Bladen County, which had the highest percentage of absentee ballot requests in the whole state, the Charlotte Observer reported. Now, I find it funny that it's the Democratic Party attorney John Wallace that's alleging this. I really find this funny, but I have a feeling, because Republicans don't see, the Republicans are they're like beta cuck soy boys. They're not going to go and do shit like this. At least this generation of them. Back in the day, the old school Republicans, they're like the old school Democrats. But I don't know if they've been introducing, estrogen into the Republicans, like drinking fountains and shit and soy and stuff like that. But they've mellowed out. So they wouldn't do shit like this. At least they've kind of shown that they are cucking to the Dems like they do. So, even when the Dems pull this shit, they just kind of keep their mouth shut. So if they're going to keep their mouth shut, the Dems are going to push it further and further and further. And they've done that. Wallace gave the elections board notarized affidavits from several voters who claimed ballots were improperly collected without being signed or appropriately sealed. One woman said she turned over a partially completed ballot, and the person collecting it said she would finish it herself. It's funny. I got a feeling that's like Avenatti. I really do. I got a feeling that's like an Avenatti thing where he's pulling shit out of his ass. I don't know why. Another woman said she had voted early in person but still received an absentee ballot in the mail despite not requesting one. I wonder why. Could maybe the Democrats were hoping to grab it out of your mail? Who knows? Joshua Malcolm, the board's vice chairman, was the person who requested a delay in the certification of the election. Malcolm's motion cited a state law that reads the board can take any other action necessary to assure that an election is determined without taint of fraud or corruption and without irregularities that may have changed the result of an election. Well, Malcolm's smart for doing what he's doing because we need to get to the bottom of this because I got a feeling it's Democrat shenanigans. They're trying to imply, you know, with the attorney and shit that it's Republicans, but I got a feeling it's the Democrats. I really do, because either you blame them for stuff that you're up to, or you try to frame them. That's just how I'm taking this situation as, because it really seems like it. He said he was concerned about unfortunate activities that have been happening down in my part of the state, and I am not going to turn a blind eye to what took place to the best of my understanding. A smart thing to do. The board could call for new elections in some circumstances if 5 of the 9 members agree, according to the Associated Press. It is made up of 4 Democrats, 4 Republicans, and 1 unaffiliated member, which to me, this is one of the angles I would think the Democrats would like to play. Hold a re-election. You know people, you're going to have even lower turnout. You know people are going to just be like, fuck this shit. And you can pull even more shenanigans. You know, absentee ballots, things like that, voter fraud. You know, those types of things, and get away with it much easier because you have less people paying attention because they just don't want to deal with the shit after the first election. So, I mean, that could be one thing they're trying to set up, and it would make sense if you're playing the long game and you're trying to make it look like, oh, we're just innocent, and you're blaming Republicans. It just seems to me like that could be the play that they're going with. Just a thought. Harris, a Southern Baptist minister from Charlotte, said he was surprised by the board's decision to delay the certification, but will continue to prepare in D.C. to serve the constituents of the 9th District. So, here's his tweet here. We were surprised by yesterday's developments at the State Board of Elections, but our legal team is fully engaged. We trust the process. This morning we sent a letter to the SBOE asking for clarity. We continue to prepare in D.C. to serve the constituents of the 9th District. See, this would be, to me, something the Democrats would do. They would lay the foundations to say the Republicans were being shady. They would then turn around, be doing it themselves, and use it for an end game like this. To rig a new, to cause a new election so that less people come out and vote so that they can rig it easier. It just makes sense. He also shared a letter on Twitter from his attorney requesting access to all information relating to the investigation as it pertains to counting or not counting votes and the number of votes involved. McCready called the voter fraud allegations troubling and said he supports the board's decision to delay the certification of the election results. Yeah, well, it looks good for him to do that. I mean, you really don't want to put up a stink. If, you want to basically, just kind of play it cool right now. If you're playing the long game, you don't want to tip your hand. That's if he's even clued in on what, say, the Democrat Party was doing, if he's, just a dupe or whatever. We cannot allow anyone to tamper with our elections or sabotage our electoral process, McCready, a Marine Corps veteran, said. I stand with voters all across the 9th District in wanting to make sure any wrongdoing is investigated and prosecuted, regardless of outcome of the election. Yeah, well, here's his tweet. I was shocked as anyone to see the State Election Board, in an unprecedented bipartisan 9-0 decision, delay certification of our election results. Our democracy depends on fairness. I've issued the following statement. And this is his statement up here. Yeah, it's basically a longer version of what he said there. The 9th District spans a few counties in the middle of North Carolina, along the border with South Carolina. State Board of Elections and Ethics Enforcement Chairman Andy Penry is also the subject of a complaint filed by the Wake County Republican Party seeking his removal. The complaint alleges he violated state law with his social media activity criticizing President Trump, according to WRAL. Oh, he has a right to an opinion. If it was, not in his official capacity, like say like an official account or something, which even then I would kind of be like, whatever. Because, it would depend on the context and it would depend on what he said, though, in that official account. But for the most part, I would just be, whatever. I can see where he's criticizing President Trump if it's an official account in his particular role. Like if it was the State Board of Elections Ethics Enforcement Chairman account. You got to remain impartial there. But on his personal account, that's a different story. Because, that's a state office account. That's like a state-held account. That's you don't want to favor one side or the other in that case. It is unclear how long the investigation could take. The new Congress is scheduled to begin January 3rd. A spokesperson for the election board did not immediately respond to a request for comment from Fox News. Yeah, they're probably going to keep quiet while they're dealing with this shit because, you get shady shit going on. You just want to kind of keep your mouth shut. You don't want to let the cat out of the bag that, there was some voter shit going on that probably shouldn't have because it's kind of illegal. There has been an intense debate in the country, particularly in North Carolina, over voter fraud and efforts by Republican lawmakers to impose stricter voter ID requirements. Yeah, which would be a good thing. You need an ID to buy cigarettes, buy alcohol, board a plane. I think these days, since September 11th, to take a bus, like cross country, like Greyhound, to take a train. So to travel, you need an ID. To drive on the road, you need an ID. To get a job, you need an ID. Well, you kind of do these days because you need two forms of identification. So, yeah. If you need IDs for all, to do everything else in life, you should kind of need one to go and register to do your vote. Just saying. It makes sense. Trump, too, has long claimed widespread voter fraud took place in the 2016 election, an assertion that has not been substantiated. Yeah, it actually has. New Hampshire had some shady shit go on in 2016, and it was reported on. Colorado had shady shit go on, and it was reported. Detroit. Oh, fuck. Yeah, that one right there happened kind of in front of everyone. When they were doing the recount, because the Green Party bitch, Hillary's, buddy, thought she would actually get something out of it and possibly fuck Trump, showed that there was more votes than there were voters. Don't know what to tell you, but you're kind of fucked when you're trying to claim, it hasn't been substantiated. And it has. When that right there happened in front of everyone. That substantiates it. Democrats have often argued voter fraud is not a widespread problem. Yeah, because they're the ones committing it, and they're going, there's nothing to see here. Don't look over there. Oh, no. No, those aren't 50 illegals in line over there. Oh, no, nothing to see there. No, not at all. Okay, that bus over there. Oh, no, they didn't come off of that bus. Oh, no, not at all. Oh, that right there, that's their actual name. That's an Anglo name, and it's someone famous who died 100 years ago. Oh no, ignore that. That's the type of shit that goes on. So that they're basically trying to be like, nothing to see here. If you don't want to have IDs as a requirement to vote when every other nation does, pretty much, it's because you're rigging the system. It really is that simple. But Anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm just going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.